Welcome to the US More News channel. Watch the video to the end to find out the current and breaking news about the Russian war in Ukraine. It is now known that major support has been given to the Ukrainian army by European states, and the planned process for training personnel has also been approved. At this point, many people expressed that after the official announcement, the war will pass more easily on behalf of Ukraine, and the personnel will protect themselves more. While it was stated that the operations will be started by the EU countries and the activities will take effect, now the editor of European Issues Ryszard Jozwiak has also announced the date on which the exercises will be held. In a statement by the editor of European Issues Ryszard Jozwiak, it was stated that as of November, Ukrainian servicemen will be transferred to EU countries and will receive training in certain cities. At this point, millions of people also wondered which countries the soldiers would start training in. Currently, while the news that Ukrainian soldiers will be trained in many countries by EU countries is being discussed, it was stated that the decision was approved by the Council. In addition, while they were told when and how the operations would be, they were wondering how many Ukrainian soldiers would be trained in EU countries. At this point, the editor of European Issues, Ryszard Jozwiak, clarified the issue. European Affairs editor Ryszard Jozwiak, who made a statement on behalf of the EU foreign ministers on his Twitter account, stated that approximately 15,000 Ukrainian soldiers will be trained for a new training mission on the territory of various EU countries. This situation was met with almost joy by the citizens of Ukraine. Ryszard Jozwiak, editor of European Issues, who continues to inform the public by making many statements on behalf of EU foreign ministers, recently also expressed how many Ukrainian soldiers will be trained in different countries. At this point, the editor of European Issues, Ryszard Jozwiak, also explained what kind of training the soldiers will conduct. According to the decisions of the EU Ministry of Foreign Affairs, 12,000 personnel will receive basic military training and about 2,800 will go to a special course, the editor of European Issues Ryszard Jozwiak said in recent statements. In addition, it was among the deciphered information that the soldiers will specialize in air defense in addition to general weapons training. It is stated that an intensive work has been started so that about 15,000 Ukrainian soldiers can receive training in EU countries now, while millions of people have started to ask how the trainings will be. At this point, it was said that the European countries had agreed on a single decision and that the trainings would be diversified. At this point, it was decided that the trainings within the scope of the European Union would be held in different countries instead of being held in a single area. In addition, many expert trainers from EU countries will participate in the operations carried out in different countries. In this way, it will be aimed that the soldiers can be qualified in every field. In addition to all these, it was stated that instead of a single training center in the trainings, the soldiers will be divided into different specialty areas and the trainings will be given in the form of courses. In recent days, while the places where EU countries will train Ukrainian soldiers are continuing to be discussed, it has become clear which countries will be involved in the operations. At this point, while it is planned to continue Interflex operations in the UK, it was also announced which countries will be the focus. While it is stated that many countries will participate in the trainings within the scope of the project developed by EU countries, it has been determined that Poland will be the headquarters point. At this point, thousands of people from the Ukrainian army are planned to go to Polish territory, while different cities of Poland will be shown as the main center. Within the framework of the mission planned by the European Union, it was decided to include Germany in the trainings and train many soldiers on German soil. At this point, explanations also began to come from Germany. The authorities stated that they decided to train a total of 5,000 Ukrainian soldiers on the territory of Germany. It was also decided that this number should increase as the force increases and new training models should be developed. The Ukraine-Russia war, which has been preoccupying global news channels and newspapers for a long time, has now started to be published on social media platforms with different topics. Many people expressed that they liked the support that Ukraine received from the European side. In addition, some social media users said that Ukraine should definitely continue to be supported, while others said that it is imperative that both sides urgently lay down their weapons and that different countries should step in and achieve peace in the near future. On October 15th, a mass shooting was opened by mobilized soldiers at a military training ground in the Belgorod region of Russia. According to the Russian Defense Ministry, 15 people were killed, 11 were injured. Russian media SOTA claims that 22 people were killed and 16 injured, citing a witness. The Ministry of Defense announced that on Saturday, 2 citizens of the CIS country opened fire on those who received assistance during the response to a fire with volunteers. According to the version of the Ministry of Defense, the shooters were killed. According to a military source, there were 3 attackers, and 1 allegedly managed to escape. According to non-public reports, the shooting took place in the morning hours, and the Ministry of Defense was able to announce this news in the evening. Photos of people's bodies lying on the ground within sight of the military training ground were posted on social media. The photos show the bodies of 13 people left. The numbered photo of the specialist Amazon Asyntogidin was published on the certificate of the Ministry of Defense of Russia on October 11th in the village of Kamyanka, Leningrad region, where he served in the military unit 02511. According to Russian media, the attackers are believed to be from Tajikistan. It has not been officially confirmed. In September, the authorities decided to grant Russian citizenship in a simplified manner to foreigners who have signed a contract to serve in the armed forces of the Russian Federation. The investigative committee of the Russian Federation officially announced the start of the criminal case only at noon on Sunday, without specifying the accusation. A large number of people from the Bryansk region who complained about problems in the past were mobilized to the Solity military training ground. According to a SORA source who was at the range at the time of the murder, residents of the Bryansk region were also among the decedents. It is also possible that the attack was based on international and illegal relations. At the beginning of October, the source of the publication said that more than 100 residents of the Bryansk region, mobilized from the training ground near Solity, refused to go to Ukraine, despite threats from their superiors. They were told they had been sent to attack lost linemen. On October 15th, 7 women from the city of Fokino, Bryansk region, whose relatives were mobilized, published a video in which they talked about Vladimir Putin. While the war in Ukraine is in full swing, a statement has come from the United States that has dropped like a bomb on the world agenda. U.S. officials allowed Russian generals to hold a secret meeting on Ukraine. The eyes and ears of the world have been following the Ukrainian news for months. With the death toll in the war, which began on February 2nd, increasing, the U.S. has become a much disputed claim. The Russian military discussed last month how and when they might use nuclear weapons in the Ukraine war, 2 American officials told America's CBS News. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov accused the West of deliberately raising the issue. In late September, Putin stepped up his anti-nuclear and anti-Western rhetoric, saying that all means are on the table to defend the territories occupied by Russia and Ukraine. Accusing the West of engaging in nuclear blackmail, Putin said this is not a bluff and claimed that Russia's weapons are far more advanced than NATO's arsenal. Pentagon spokesman John Kirby commented on U.S. media reports that Russian generals discussed the use of nuclear weapons as follows: "We have growing concerns that nuclear capability has been increasing in recent months." Russia's losses on the ground in the war in Ukraine have also brought talk of the threat of nuclear weapons. In recent weeks, Moscow has claimed that the Ukrainian military may be using a dirty bomb containing radioactive material. The West and Ukraine deny the accusations, stating that the purpose of the accusation is to accuse Kyiv of using the bombs in question. There are different opinions about the situation regarding the use of nuclear weapons by Moscow. The Russian military's routine nuclear drill last week included how to react to an enemy nuclear attack among the scenarios. Putin has a clear view of Russia's nuclear doctrine, according to which these weapons can be used only for defensive purposes. But on Tuesday, the deputy chairman of the Russian Security Council, Dmitry Medvedev, drew attention to another element of Russia's nuclear doctrine. According to him, Russia can use nuclear energy even when the country's existence is threatened. Medvedev said that Ukraine wants to take back all the lands that it had before, and this threatens the very existence of the country. U.S. President Joe Biden said at the beginning of October that it was the first time since the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962 that the threat of nuclear war had increased so much. If there is a problem with the promises made by the Ukrainian state and they are broken, the Russian state will reserve and hide the right to withdraw from this agreement for grain that has been made, Russian President Putin added. Russian President Putin gave the green light by making a statement about the grain agreement, which they announced that they had canceled today. Putin announced that he would demand guarantees from Ukraine that the attacks in the Black Sea would not be repeated. If Ukraine violates its responsibilities, we will not inform anyone of our right to withdraw from the grain agreement. Even if we withdraw from the agreement, grain supplies to Ukraine will continue. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video to be informed of the developments at the speed of light.